Welcome, everybody. This is Manhattan Community Board 1. This is our executive committee. I'm delighted to say that we have a brief meeting this evening. It's 6:05, calling the meeting to order. And first, we want to do the very first thing at the top, we want to meet our staff of our newly elected officials. We want to welcome Dan Goldman and his team to Community Board 1, our new congressman. I believe Tevin is here. Yes, Tevin, welcome. If you have a camera, please turn it on. And welcome to Manhattan Community Board 1. This is Tevin Williams. Uh-oh.
You're good. Hi, how are you, Tammy? And hi, everyone from CB1. I don't really know if you wanted me to prepare anything to say, but I am here and wanted to just say hello to everyone on CB1. My name is Tevin Williams. As Tammy mentioned, I've already reached out to her and Lucian. I'll give you a little bit of background of what I do for Dan and then also how I kind of got to this position. My name is Tevin Williams, as I've mentioned. I am the Director of Community and External Affairs. And when we lock down our Manhattan office, I will be the lead for the Manhattan office when it comes to the lower part of Manhattan, whenever we are between two options right now. So I'll let everyone know when we have that information. And thank you for allowing us to use your space next week, CB1, for just a few days until we kind of get an office space. Our Brooklyn office may end up being open before our Manhattan one, but that's okay. As I mentioned, I will be a senior staffer to Congressman Goldman. I will be leading, sorry, my phone is going berserk right now. I will be leading the Manhattan office for any responses there, as well as John Blasco, who will be down in Brooklyn for that office, our Deputy Chief of Staff and District Director. And my community boards that I actually will be responsible for will be Community Board 1 and Community Board 2. So I am also your staff contact here. Please let me know if you need anything. Tammy and Lucian both have my email address. As I've kind of mentioned, and I will tell you a little bit about my previous background. I come from New York State Senator Brad Hoylman's office before this. I have had 11 years of nonprofit experience. I'm originally from Georgia, Southwest Georgia. No, not Atlanta. Everyone asks me that. I am from a small town called Thomasville, Georgia, which is actually right near Tallahassee, Florida. So I'm about 30 minutes away from there. I've worked for the YMCA for, I said, about 11 years. And I've worked between Georgia, Florida, and now New York, and worked in Senator Hoylman's office with the Community Board 2 and Manhattan Community Board 7, so the Upper West Side. I do love the lower part of Manhattan. I'm always in the Village. I do walk around a lot in the area of your district a lot too with friends. So I'm familiar with the areas and issues that y'all have, but there's always more to learn. So please feel free to reach out to us with anything. Continue to use our office as a resource. As many of you know, Dan Goldman was a former federal prosecutor. He's our newly elected 10th Congressional District congressman. He is also my congressman, fun fact. I live in Park Slope, Brooklyn. So I think it's pretty cool to have that working knowledge coming from the campaign, but also as he is my representative. Please feel free to reach out to us at any point. We'll be happy to let you know and also point you in the right direction if it's city or state or federal. But please, if there are any issues going on in the community board, we're happy to hear what's going on. Open to questions if you have them, or I'm more than happy to just kind of listen for a little bit. I do have to join him in about 25 minutes because he does have CB2 full board tonight. But please, I'm thankful to be here and working with all of you.
I'm going to call Mariama first, but the one thing I would say is you're welcome to use our office. You're welcome to camp out at our office. I would give up my desk in the office if you need a temporary housing location. So have no fears. You are welcome at 1 Center Street to use as long as you want. Of course, it's a little selfish because then we have you right there, but I won't say anything like that.
That's okay.
Goes we have plenty of desks. We're good. Mariama and then Justine.
Yeah, on our last conversation, hey Tevin, first of all, nice to see you. On our last conversation that was being had before the meeting started, I think it's important to mention in front of the electeds that there is no affordable housing on the east side of our district. So that is the one loss in what's happening or not happening right now with the Seaport and Howard Hughes. regardless of whatever else was happening and them looking for profits or whatever, they were going to, as of right, put in some affordable housing that they did not need to include. And without that, we have none. Southbridge Towers was the last bit of affordable housing on this side of the district. And as you know, we went private a few years ago. There is zero. So if we want to be able to get people in here, the electeds need to know, we got to start, if not that land, some land needs to be attributed to getting people of lower income and of culturally and racially and economically diverse backgrounds into this district.
Thank you, Mariama. All right, Justine and then Paul Goldstein.
Thanks so much. And Tevin, hi, how are you? Justine Kucha here. Nice to meet you. And I'm just going to go on a little bit with, just follow up 2 seconds with what Mariama just said about the need for socioeconomic diversity in all of Lower Manhattan. And just plug out there for 5 World Trade Center becoming 100% affordable, because that will buy or give us a little bit more affordability, much needed affordability and socioeconomic diversity in Lower Manhattan. That's on the west side, but still. So these are just things that are huge to pay attention to. People are being forced out of their homes by taxes, as well as ridiculous rents. We're losing storefronts left and right to taxes, and I'm sorry, to rent increases. And it's just, we're going in the wrong direction. That's all. And that's what I got to say. So thank you.
Thank you, Justine. Paul Goldstein, Pat Moore.
Welcome aboard. You mentioned that you worked for the YMCA, and I think that gives an opportunity to mention that this community board, along with Seaport Coalition, is working very hard on a new effort to develop a Y community type center on the east side of our district. One thing that's, Mariama mentioned that we need affordable housing, that without question, that's true, but we also need recreation spaces for children. We have, as you probably know, Lower Manhattan, and especially the east side, has had a tremendous increase in its residential population over the last 20 years or so. And but we haven't kept pace with providing the services that keeps those families in the neighborhood and stops them from moving, down to other states, etc. So we think we have a good opportunity. There's a site in the Seaport that used to be occupied by the Fulton Fish Market, called the New Market Building site. It's now empty. It was demolished. So we are going to make an effort to try to get ETC to assign that for community use. And if you would make yourself available possibly, and of course the congressman, to work with us on that, and you have expertise, if you work for the YMCA, we'd love to hear some of your thoughts about what would be appropriate for a space like the one we have in mind.
Sure thing.
Okay, thank you.
I will say also, I think this is something I had a conversation just before I hear any more questions. Excuse me, Chair, and all board members of the executive meeting. I want to be very clear. There are a lot of people that want to speak to Dan Goldman, and we have 2 boroughs. I can't always promise that he will be available for every single walkthrough and every single thing in the midst of all that we deal with every day. But we will definitely I will always say, like, this is going on each day, or this is going on each moment in the district. And you have my word that I will make an effort every time. And if we can't make it, one of us will be there. We do have a good amount of staff, so I will make sure the message gets to him. But I just want to be very clear on that front. When it comes to a lot of us, a lot of people in general, not just community members, but also members of other things want to speak with Dan Goldman. So Congressman Goldman.
Understood. That's why he has competent and intelligent people like you to represent him.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I am
Please
sure,
continue.
Tevin, that he will join us at our full board, probably like he is at CB2 tonight, to
Yeah.
come and meet. So
Yeah, he'll
it's the beginning, not the end, and I'm sure that's a good start.
right. He'll definitely pop in and introduce himself. Pending the craziness in Washington too. But yes, we plan on making it to every full board this week or for the first month.
Perfect.
Hi,
Pat Moore.
Tevin. I'm Pat
Hello.
Moore.
Okay.
And so as everyone is kind of putting out there and letting you know certain issues that are their baby issues, my baby is the reopening of Liberty Street. So I live
Yeah.
in Greenwich South, which
Mhm.
is where World Trade Center number 5 is going to be located. And as we advocate for 100% affordability, and we intend to bring down all of these people to live there, we have very few streets in Greenwich South that actually work. We have one street that I live on, Cedar Street, which is the only street that goes west. So it's the only street going west.
Mhm.
Liberty Street has been closed because after the World Trade Center, after 9/11, it was closed for security reasons. 1010 Fire Station is located there. They have advocated to get it reopened. We and the board have asked for it to be opened. Any help that we can get in support of getting Liberty Street reopened so we have an additional street going west with all of these new people that are coming in and with the building that's going to be happening at World Trade Center number 5 and all the other construction that's going on in Greenwich South, we need to have another west-facing street. So
Okay.
just put it on your radar. Thanks.
Good to know.
And have no fear, we'll be happy to give you a map, Tevin, and walk you around.
I'll walk you through personally.
Cool. Thank
All
you.
right, next is going to be Alice Blank, our vice chair, followed by Rosa Chang.
Hi, Tevin. Nice to see you. Just two things I wanted to mention that could be highlighted on that long list you have in front of us for our district. One, and which Congressman Nadler had helped us with a little bit at the beginning. One is what is the future of the Manhattan Correctional Center? This is a federal prison. It lets out onto Park Row, a project which is now very much underway thanks to the Park Row Alliance and our own member, Rosa Chang from Brooklyn Bridge, Manhattan. It's critically important to know what will happen to the future of this building. What could it become? Does it have to be a prison? It is empty right now. And I think at a minimum, if you could find out for us what is coming down the pike on that, that would be really helpful. Obviously, a lot of us would like to see something other than a prison there. And related to that is the Manhattan Detention Center, albeit a municipal facility, but something that should be on your radar as a very critically important project that
We are
is
aware.
quite controversial, as
Yeah.
I'm sure you're aware. Yeah. And the other one I just want to mention is the African American Museum, a satellite to the one in Washington. I see you nodding your head. I'm delighted to know you are nodding and aware of it. Something that has actually received legislation, but is yet to really get grounded. And there is a place, supposedly, allegedly, in Lower Manhattan at the burial ground next door to a city-owned building. And we could use help on that project, which has a federal component as well. So thanks very much for the time.
Mhm.
welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Alice. Rosa Chang, and then Trisha Joyce.
Thank you. Hi, Tevin. Nice to meet you. I think I saw you last night, kindly guiding people up and down the stairs.
Yeah, that was me.
So I
I'm taking
am-
notes, by the way, just on my phone. I'm not ignoring you.
No, not at all. For Brooklyn Bridge Manhattan, which is a project that Dan Goldman has already toured with us, and we are so thankful for. And he has offered his support for the project, so we are thankful for that as well. One thing that I had just emailed, I think, Haley Scott regarding, and Dan today, but I'm realizing maybe it should have gone through you, but I hadn't met you yet.
It's okay.
Was a letter, an official letter of support for the project so that we can share that with people in City Hall who can help us to make that project happen faster and better. And so if you could help us with that, that would be awesome. And I will get your contact information from Lucian so that I can forward that to you as well. I was going to give you guys a break for like a month, you and Grace.
It would be nice. Yeah, it would be very nice.
But
It's
since you happen to be here, no, but we do need the letter.
no,
Oh,
it's
Rosa,
it's
we're gonna take him
totally.
to lunch and walk him, down the
Yeah,
road.
yeah. I love a good district walkthrough. That's totally fine. It's just, I think a lot of people, just to, sorry, Rosa, if you weren't done, I think a lot of people have been trying to get in touch. I will say our website is up and running. You can always contact us through there. We get like invitations through there. We get constituent requests through there. You're more than welcome to reach us out through that way. And we have like a system called Indigo that we use that will like funnel it to the right person. So it's very concise in that sense, but I just wanted to let everyone know that. And then our office information for Brooklyn is there, but when we get the Manhattan one, it will be there as well. But yes, Lucian has my email. Feel free to let me know directly if you need anything.
Two other points. Number
Sure.
one, the bathrooms have an excellent view of the entire project site. So whenever you go to the bathroom, just remember to look out the window and think, what have we done for this project lately? Number two.
I love that view because we've been in the New York City Department of Veteran Services, which is how I actually met Lucian. So we've been rehoused there because our deputy district director is actually a veteran, a reservist right now with the Army.
Yeah.
And so she has gotten a connection there. So we've been there, and that's how I ran into CB1. And so I was like, oh my gosh, they're right down the hallway. That's so great. So introduced myself to Lucy and Lucian a week or two ago. So we're excited to now be able to use your space for a little bit and speak to a few people.
That's awesome. And then number two, I am going to ask for perhaps some funding for public bathrooms down there
Okay.
on Park Row. That would be super helpful because we do have so many tourists and locals who, are human beings and need to
Right.
peep every once in a while. So that would be
Totally
awesome
hear you.
if we could get your support for that. We need 3. We need men's, women's, and handicap accessible. And if we could have your support to get funding for one of those 3, then that would be amazing.
Amazing. Sounds good.
Okay,
Thank you.
Trisha is next, followed by Mimi.
Hi, Tevin. Very nice meeting you. Thanks for coming. I think someone mentioned your name to me today. I was having a communication with the Harbor School, which is, I'm the chair of youth and ed. Did I say that? I think you know a little bit about the fact that the Harbor School was moved to Governor's Island about 11 years ago, and yet they did not receive their full facilities at that time. It's a school that has a special program in marine biology and several other marine oriented studies, and they are just now about to get this pool that they've been waiting for a decade, as well as a full-size gym. This was a huge win, and we are very concerned that after they announced it in the fall that they have yet to come through with a signed lease. We continue hearing it's imminent. We are not seeing it, and we still have not seen the plans that they showed us on a presentation in October. So we will be calling upon you for help with that. We want to make sure, obviously, that this deal doesn't fall apart. It is a very important school, and it sets an example really nationwide. People are going to be watching this school. It's a program that, took a long time to try and test and get into place. And the school is such a great example of a diverse and successful school that came from nothing. So that's one of our big ones. And the other one is the fact that with the, trying to build schools in New York City with a limited footplate, we're finding ourselves building schools in office buildings.
Right.
This is something else that I think is going to be happening across our country. And that's why I think it's not out of proportion to talk about it in terms of the federal, on a federal level, because right now, all school districts are tying their infrastructure to per pupil spending. and in public schools. And I think we're headed for a crisis. The facilities are not being provided when the schools are opening. They are promising them, like they did at the Harbor School. It can be over a decade for things to arrive. Sometimes they're building dance rooms and saying, you know, we can't get you a gym, but we can get you a dance room. Well, I'm sure you're aware that that's competitive sports lifts people out of poverty. It builds self-esteem. We can't just accept that there can't be competitive sports in New York City. And one of my initiatives this year is to, you know, put out a resolution that we should be looking at alternative spaces to build those facilities if we can't within the footplate of an office building, to build them in our communities.
Mhm.
And I think it's going to be beneficial for the schools, obviously, but also from our communities
Mhm.
to have these beacons that of spaces we can share. So thanks
Totally.
for listening,
Yeah.
and we'll be in touch.
Yeah, I think another piece of our district, which we unfortunately don't overlap with my colleague, who I really am happy to see on this call, Samantha Day with Grace Lee's office, is we're having this issue in the just a little bit outside of CB1, which is actually in CB2, with the NYU project of the 181 Mercer, with the fight right now of like battles over, do we build a school that is going to help people, or do we build a grocery store? And it's like, why can we not have both, right? So we do have a lot of those issues in the district too. And I'm glad that you brought this up, because I think that education is just very different in Georgia than it is in New York, especially how the school system works up here. Lots of city issues there, but happy to listen and see how we can be resourceful in elevating this and escalating it. So please feel free to reach out to us.
Thank you.
You, Tevin. Mimi, I'm going to ask you wait 1 second, only because we did have Onej and Lucy join us tonight, and I'd love them to be able to say hello and then them to be able to go home for the night. Lucy?
Hi,
Oh,
everyone. Tevin, we met personally the other day, so thank you. I really don't have much to say. I've been with the office for over 30 plus years. And as Tammy likes to say, I'll hopefully I'm not undermining it. I'm the meat of the community board, but Lucian is the head, just because of the history that I've been there, and the time that I've been with Community Board 1. I was very happy when Lucian texted us this afternoon stating that you guys will be using our office. If you need anything personally, just text me, email me if there's something. I know the whole building from the 24th to the first floor, so if you need assistance with anything within the building, let me know. If you need some temporary IDs, we can work around that. So we'll talk soon, and if you need anything, just let me know.
I will. Thank you, Lucy.
Onej, I know you're here somewhere.
She actually might not. We have a lot of people on, but she might be not on at this moment. Hi, Tevin. This is Lucian. Thanks again for stopping by. It was a really awesome thing to do, to come find us when you saw our name on the floor. I also just want to say that hello to Samantha is here. Samantha from
She's
some
going to
member
get
of
her
the
time.
office.
Don't
But
worry.
I just want to, just because the staff are going to drop, Samantha, that our hellos are for you as well. Thanks for joining us all.
Okay, Mimi, you're next, and then I'm going to wind up with poor Tevin. Sorry.
That's okay.
Hey, I wanted to add to the restroom ask that Rosa brought up, because like there's a lot of cities that need public restrooms, and I don't really know what sort of, there's local control, federal purview, blah, blah, blah. But we, on the Public Restrooms Task Force, we have spoken to many different cities about the solutions that they've been coming up with, and having, any amount of, there's just no standard way, right, to provide public restrooms for everyone. And as the self-proclaimed like capital of the world or whatever that New York is, like, it's a shame that we don't have public restrooms, and it's like the touch point with America that a lot of people have from overseas. And so, and like people in the rest of the country, like want to come here and just have an experience here. And it's just such a tragedy to, I walked with my niece across the Brooklyn Bridge, and she had to pee the whole time. And then we get to Manhattan, and I was just like, there's a bathroom, but it's like a little far, and I'm not sure that we're going to have access to it. And it was just really painful to, be trying to show my niece the city and to have such a distressing time. So, I'd like to challenge anybody on the federal level to consider it, any sort of many dollars that could be provided. Thanks.
We'll see with this new leadership. It's going to be a hard fight for funding for a couple of years. I do want to mention that. And I think you're right. I think it's good that the MTA is also saying that they are going to open restrooms on the MTA right now, which is a great step. But we do have some of our leaders that feel like, if anyone has been to Moynihan at one point when that was built, there is no seating, right? I take the Amtrak and there is no seating because of a certain idea that everyone doesn't deserve that. So we will try and do what we can. And with this new project, I think that's a good opportunity. So we'll definitely look into that. Thank you, Mimi. I do have to jump in just a few minutes because CB2 starts at 6:30, which they do give about 15 minutes for electeds into it, but I'm good for just a little bit now.
That was my goal, was to get all the board members and the office team done by 6:30. So knowing that you
Perfect.
needed to go, which is why we let you go first. Sorry, Samantha, we're going to catch you right after and get you. So Tevin, you're going to have to give the apologies when you get there. There are, other than the list that you've had, there are several other topics that we do need to discuss around the neighborhood that have a federal connection and a federal spin. So I look forward to catching up with you. And welcome to the community. We're delighted to have you guys here.
Thank you so much, Tammy. And yeah, we'll grab lunch and talk you, Lucian, and I, and we'll talk soon. Thank you so much. It was so nice meeting all of you. I will talk to you soon.
All right, great. Thanks, Tevin. All right, that moves us over to Samantha. So Samantha, thank you so much. Congratulations again to Grace, who's a long member of our community we know so well, but we are delighted to have you here, and take it away.
Yes. Hi, everyone. It's nice. I think I know most of you, but it's nice to see you all again. And I'm looking forward to connecting with those who I haven't had the chance to meet with already. My name is Samantha, and I am Chief of Staff to newly elected Assemblymember Grace Lee. I was also her campaign manager, so I am very familiar with most of the issues in the community and with a lot of people on this call through that. I'm looking forward to meeting with you all and hearing if you guys have a list of issues from me as well, hearing what those might be. And I will put my email in the chat for everybody as well, so they have that in general. I didn't see Tevin's intro, so is there anything else that you want me to go over?
You heard a lot of things, so hopefully you had the opportunity to take notes while we were slamming.
I did take notes, yes.
Yeah. I will say we will share your contact details on our board list, as we do with all our elected representatives. So, that should be a great thing. In terms for the assembly member, we are thrilled to have her. We'd like to be able to catch her up on all things 65 plus 61, although we have our fantastic assembly member Fall, who's currently with us. Due to redistricting, we'd like to ensure and put that out there that we understand with the new redistricting maps that were just released, 65 would then take all of everybody else as it used to be. And with that in case, we would certainly appreciate and like to keep you online and up to date with everything from coast to coast, as they say.
Yes, we would like that as well.
And when you have your office all set up and everything, we would love to meet with you as well and work on some priorities that we think the assembly member could be super, super helpful with in Albany.
We can do that. And just so everybody knows, we're currently working out of former Assemblymember New's office on Fulton Street, while we are hopefully now finalizing setting up a location for a district office, which will be in between the Lower East Side and Chinatown area. We're hoping that by the end of the month that will be locked in place, and we'll certainly circulate that, and we'll do an office opening once that's finalized.
Well, I'm not going to the comic book store with you, but I'm glad to know you're at least on Fulton. It's a great way to get a foothold into walking around the community, especially the Seaport Midi area, to see a lot of the issues that we have. Fulton tends to, between sidewalk sheds and homeless and other, closed retail, things like that. We'd love to start
Delivery
having,
drivers.
yeah, we'd love to start having discussions that, maybe tax revisions and other things that could come through Albany that would help enliven the streetscape. That really depends on conversations of how commercial properties sometimes benefit from leaving their commercial not rented. And we lose restaurants every single week and small businesses every single week due to the discussion of their lease was up, they couldn't afford it. Or, I mean, it is a crime when you think of what Lower Manhattan used to be to where Lower Manhattan is now. And a lot of that has to do with the way the tax laws are structured, a lack of, if it's more fiscally viable for somebody to get a tax benefit from leaving it vacant than it is to rent to a not-for-profit or a small business, then we've done the community and the small businesses the most major disservice. And we can't always carry a baseball bat. We'd like to, look at incentives to have them be in business and care about the community. There are other things that we certainly would like to talk to you about to change perhaps or revise. When lots of conversations have been had about bail reform and lots of conversations have been had about how we purview things and the state approving things and setting things up without necessarily thinking of the nuts and bolts at the bottom. So we're happy to have those kind of conversations to see what tweaks we can have, because we know that we finally have a mayor and a governor who actually like to talk to each other. So on that, I'm going to ask Mariama's going to go, and then I promise in 8 minutes we will let you out or less. Mariama?
I'm still on affordable housing. I know Grace is already a tremendous supporter of Five World Trade, as is Congressman Goldman. So, but it's the state that has to vote. So just wanting her to know that we're still on that. We're still very actively working on it. Our steering committee is still meeting every Monday and working very diligently on that project and other issues of housing, literally going around the neighborhood and taking note of where, if anywhere, there is affordable housing and how so. Is it what it was slated to be? Some things, when promises were made in the building when it went up, it wasn't what was promised. And apartments, units that were supposed to be affordable, we found actually were not, and people weren't able to move in after winning the lottery, things of that nature. So just really wanting to stay on. The Five World Trade is, of course, in Assemblyman Falls district, but we're still very happy to have Grace with us on that and of all issues of housing, and we'll continue to work on it hard, and she can reach out to us whenever there's anything that comes up in that area. We'll be out there with you. All right.
Yes,
Thanks.
and I am happy to share that housing is obviously one of our main priorities, securing more affordable housing. And Grace recently got her committee assignments, and so she is on the housing committee, which we're excited about.
Wonderful. That is exciting. Thank you for sharing that.
We are super excited to hear that, simply because we just passed last month, a resolution on the Joint Purpose Fund from the Battery Park City Authority, which of course the state, being a state authority, that would be great to have dialogue, to work with Assemblymember Fall to see. Everyone supports affordable housing, but Community Board 1 is often told that it cannot happen in your district because it's too expensive. The fact that we can't find a way through creative programming to create affordable housing except to push it out does nothing but it does nothing to help the problems that we have, which then go back down to funding, which then go back to diversity in the schools, which goes back to small businesses and grocery stores and everything else that you got rolling. So, and it goes, quite frankly, back to street life and having people on the streets and the, who live here. So we would love to explore opportunities on that. We will send you the resolution anytime that Grace has to be able to work and to help drive that. We'd like to be able to build a large amount of affordable housing in Community Board 1 because we have lost thousands of units. Justine?
Just a reiteration of what you just said. That's all. Samantha, thank you. It's nice to see you. I'm looking forward to what Grace can bring to the table, as well as Assemblymember Fall. And this is such a huge issue because the soul of Lower Manhattan is running away because it's just really truly matters. And it, as Tammy said, it trickles down. So I'm not going to waste your time. You have 8 minutes or less. So that's it. But it's just so important. Thank you.
And then Samantha, we'd love to catch you up on all things resiliency based. Alice and I and Lucian can set a time to talk east side, west side resiliency. It's going to be super important to have, and Governor's Island, to have her up to speed as quickly as possible.
Yes. On a related note, Grace is also on the Environmental Conservation Committee. So we're hoping that we'll be able to do some work with that as well.
Fantastic. Congratulations. All righty. Well, thank you so much. I know you've got to run. Tell Janine we said hello. We saw everybody this morning. And we really appreciate the time that you've spent with us. I don't see any other hands. I don't see hands from the public either for our attendees. So with that note, I'm going to say have a lovely night, Samantha, and thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So, yeah, we'll, LMDC. Yeah. Okay, I got you. All right, let's do committee reports. If we can, let me know who might need their hair lit on fire and needs to go first. I would like not to trick the office this month and sort of get it a little bit organized, a little bit better, which would be great. And then please note that our full board meeting will be hybrid. So all board members should be in person. We will be hybrid for full board for the year. Unless there is an emergency order that says you cannot meet, we will be there. Marianne?
In person. Oh, sorry.
In person will be at 1 Center Street in the Manhattan Borough President's office with the window open in the hallway, the doors to the room open, and off we go. If we
Are we allowed to bring snacks?
I would hope so. Why not?
Okay, terrific.
We used to. I mean, I came with dinner most days. Yeah, bring your snacks, no problem. Bring your food. I don't want anybody passing out. And if the room gets crowded, the public will be asked to go to the community board office to watch from there, or an ancillary space so we don't overflow the room. All right, Mariama, Betty, and I think, Lucian, you go first.
We're going to verify the day of the meeting. We'll before the meeting, we'll verify what the rules are for 1 Center Street. I think there's still currently a non-employee mask mandate for the building. So if the borough president's office is operating under the same rules, then we will ask everyone to adhere to those rules as well. And we will set up, I'll set up our office as an overflow room, but we will be adhering closely to the capacity guidelines for the large conference room on the 19th floor. So we will not be doing any more standing room only for community board meetings ever again. Those who are worried that they will be standing room only, they should just join us remotely. It will be a hybrid meeting. So that's what we're trying to do. Encourage all members of the public to join remotely. They don't have to be there in person. They get the same experience. That's our aim. And with that, Tammy, thank you. Yield my time.
All right, Lucian, I'm dropping your hand down. Mariama, Betty, Trisha, Justine.
So, am I unmuted? Okay, yeah, super quick report. With the Rite Aid closure, so not only the one in Battery Park City, but the one in Chatham also closed. And we have a number of community members and community board members, particularly those who are seniors and or 9/11 survivors, that are affected really adversely by this move. They didn't give anybody any notice that they were moving, but for a sign that was on the door. So if you didn't see that sign, you had no idea that your prescription was suddenly being mailed somewhere else, sent to another pharmacy that you may or may not be able to go to. And it's a huge mess. So Tammy graciously allowed me to invite the World Trade Center Health Program to the full board meeting. They'll be making a 10-minute presentation there, and there'll be, I guess, at least a short opportunity to ask questions of, it's going to be Anthony Gardner. I just sent Lucian his information so they can coordinate and get some slides together and things. You'll have some opportunity to ask him some questions if you have any of the transition in the pharmacy program. That's it. Thank you, Tammy.
My pleasure. Okay, Betty?
I'm hoping there's no hair on fire with mine, but I do want to let people know that we will be talking about the street code naming guidelines, because after a year of work, they're finally kind of rewritten, and that's going to be a topic. So when they come out for the meeting, if people would take the time to read through the new guidelines and the resolution that goes with them. If you have any questions, by all means, contact me in advance rather than making a big scene at the meeting. Better be prepared, but thanks a lot.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much, Betty. Trisha, Justine?
Sorry, my mute button wasn't moving. We had a really quick meeting. I just wanted to mention that we supported a resolution from CB6 supporting local law 10, which is to put a stop arm camera on all New York City school buses. Apparently there are a lot of traffic violations with school buses. This was a no-brainer for us, so we supported it and it passed unanimously.
Awesome. Justine, you're next.
Thanks so much. So I just wanted to point out that the Joint Purpose Fund resolution is actually coming up for the full board now. So it's okay. I don't remember either. I had to look it up. So, but there's that to talk about. I don't think that'll be controversial, but it may. Otherwise, I just want to give a quick update and let folks know that about the CBD shops and the smoke shops that have been popping up every place, that for the 20-something of the list that we have compiled in CB1. I think the last time I did the walkthrough and added something was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So God, goodness knows there may be more that have popped up since then. But as of the list that we had, DCWP is actually going by, investigating them. Many of them are licensed, but many of them are licensed for selling tobacco. But what the report has been showing is that they're not licensed to sell CBD or anything else. And Lucian, correct me if I'm wrong, but just the update for the Battery Park City shop is that they went back in and they went in, found violations early on. They went back in December, the end of December, and they found that they had cleaned up everything and they are not in violation anymore. Short answer. Now, and anybody, is that right?
Yeah, I believe that's my understanding. Yeah.
Okay, so my thing to everybody in CB1 and especially Battery Park City, let me know and let us know what's going on, because what they said back was if people notice something they didn't, or they just cleaned up for the inspection and then they're back at something, we just
So I'm gonna add to what NYPD said at the Downtown Alliance board meeting, is that many of the shops, so tagging on to what Justine and Lucian just reported, many of the shops have built cabinets that are closed, so it's not seen to the public eye, but it is being sold contraband. So if you walk in and you ask and you are served, please take note and please file.
That makes sense. Thank you, Tammy.
Now, Lucian's going to put the link in. We have an unlicensed retail cannabis form that is part of our work that we're doing, that Justine has done and Sarah is working on. I can't tell you enough. We cannot be the eyes and ears on every street corner. And Alice probably knows this better than anybody because she lives on, I think, the northernmost part of who we are as a board. You walk from one side of Canal Street to the other, there are retail tobacco shops all over there, and I don't think most of them are licensed and legal. So again, here's the form. We can email it out to everybody. Please report it. It is up to us to really tell your neighbors, tell your friends, get it moving. Thank you, Justine, Alice, and then Patrick.
I just have to go. Oh, sorry, got my camera on. I'm sorry, I have to leave a little early, but I just want to say, I just want to encourage everyone who is interested in the U.S. Army Corps hat study, and our comments are due March 7th, to please go to the teach-in, which is on next Wednesday. It's an all-day event where every piece of information you've ever wanted to know on this will probably be provided through Rebuild by Design. And I think, Tammy, you had agreed, and Lucian, to send that around to the board, so that'll be given for anybody interested to get educated. Gotta go. Thank you so much.
Alice, quick question. Will
Yeah.
that be recorded? Because there's no way I can.
Yes, it will. It
Okay.
will. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Bye-bye.
All righty. Patrick, Cannell, you had your hand up. You're next. Oop, I might have lost Patrick.
No, I'm here. Sorry. I was using the chat feature and then trying to figure this out. So I would be really delighted if that could be emailed out to everybody. So for me, at least, that would be an easy way to access it when I see it. And I do see it quite often throughout FIDI. So I'm talking about the cannabis form. For land use, no hair setting on fire, non-controversial resolution on looking for ways to expand public bathrooms. So I expect we'll be a reasonable and quiet committee this month.
Thank you, Patrick, very much. I think those, Paul, do you have anything that you want to report, or Francis, or Susan?
We did cover a lot of items, but the only resolution we have is about Elizabeth Jennings Graham, and we are going to recommend that a monument be built in our district in recognition of her. I'm sure most of you already know she was the African-American woman in 1854 who was thrown off a transit system streetcar. She sued, and that led to the end of that policy in New York City. So we agreed wholeheartedly to find a space, and we're going to recommend 3 potential spaces for such a monument. So that's it, other than, reports on other matters.
Justine, you got anything?
Just a quick thing to follow up. So if follow up on what Patrick just said, if we're going to be emailing around the form to report locations for Smoke Shop CBD, Lucian, is it possible to also email that spreadsheet that Ed?
Yeah, we'll
and
update it and post it. Yeah,
because this way people know what's licensed and what's not. That's all. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. For those who did not and were not able to go, I went. A few of us went to Kathy Gupta's funeral today. Sure you saw my email. It was recorded, so if anybody would like the recording, just email me and I'll make sure you get it. It was a beautiful service, and yeah. So that's that, and we had Borough Board this morning. It's there's a lot of new chairs in place throughout Manhattan, so that's kind of exciting and fun. Lots of conversation about cannabis and the new cannabis licensing, and the cannabis office taking into consideration the new rules that need to be set up for home growing. I did send out the resolution from CB9 on this topic to the quality of life chairs, the licensing chairs, and land use, just so you know. And just, we need to discuss it in February, figure out what we're going to say and do and comment. I believe it belongs in licensing because they're the ones who they will come to. If the chairs feel that it would be a better discussion for executive to have everybody from all the groups come, or in quality of life, it doesn't make a difference to me. Certainly, when you read through the CB9 resolution, and I'm happy to share it with everyone on the board if they would like, there's a lot of concerns when you're living in apartment buildings and historic places that are not known for robust ventilation. So, yeah. Pat?
Yeah, I am so sick of smelling cannabis when I walk down the street. But I was wondering if it's possible from going forward to mail out the web site so we can join, or at least, view the borough board meetings. I keep forgetting that they're on the Thursday before our executive committee meeting.
I'll send you the calendar. It's posted on the MBPO site. I don't mind doing that. I actually didn't get the email this month either. So it was a delightful surprise for me this morning. And when I realized what day it was.
Right.
But
So,
yeah.
If
you
we can
could
get it so we can put it in our date book and attend, because it was, every time I've gone, it's been very interesting.
It really is fascinating, and it is really great to see, to drive symmetry and synergy throughout the island to try and get some great work done. So yeah, and
Great,
believe me,
thanks.
we all say some of the same things. It's kind of interesting.
Thank you.
Alrighty. With seeing no other hands and nothing else, I'd like to call the meeting to close unless anybody has anything else that they need. Awesome. So, motion to adjourn at 6:57.
Very exciting. Second your motion.
That was early.
Thank